Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to The Bunker. It's time for another voicemail, and we have another voicemail from an anonymous caller. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Hey Lloyd, hope you're having a good day. Please feel free to share this with your channel if it's hopefully going to help somebody. In the meantime, I would like to maintain my anonymity with it all. So I left the org last year. I was indoctrinated as an adult, so I had no family, and when I left, I had a clean break. I mainly left because of the organization itself, the pressure, the expectations, the driving force, hard line in the sand lifestyle that I just couldn't do anymore. It was causing a lot of depression and anxiety, which at the time I didn't realize it was because of being in. I had a lot of cognitive dissonance, which I also at the time didn't know what that was. And I didn't find out about you and the reality of the organization and other XJW individuals until after leaving. And it wasn't until then that I was truly free, because now I knew the reality of what I was a part of. And I was mentally able to start a new life, to be happy, to not have guilt, to not have this old programming inside. While I was in the org, I got really close to a friend. This friend obviously started shunning me when I left, but they were very similar to me. We're indoctrinated as adults, have been in it about 5 years, but the only difference is that they have a parent who's involved. When I left, I always maintained some kind of contact with this person, even though they never responded. I would send out a text every couple months, just saying, hey, I'm doing well. I hope you're well. No hard feelings. I miss you. Life is great. I just want you to be happy. Thank you for being such a good friend. Just all positive, sweet messages, never bitter, angry types of messages. And I always said, I hope that one day we can talk again. Well, that one day has come. This person has recently contacted me. They are essentially fading. They are in the same place that I was a year ago. They are leaving, or they don't want to be a part of it anymore because of the same reason. The expectation, the driving force, the pressures, and so on. This person is also anxious. They are depressed. But I can see that they aren't truly free yet, even though they're trying to fade, because they don't know the other side of the organization, just like I did. I didn't know about it until after. Now, this person's trying to maintain an inactive, faded status for the sake of the parent. So that person will always have that sort of be bound to the situation for that reason. But in their mind, they still think that it's true. They just don't care to do it anymore. And they're willing to, in their mind, go through Armageddon and take the punishment, because they'd rather live today than for paradise in the future. So my question to you is, what is the right strategy to provide them the information that I found out about after with the organization? I right now just want to share everything, but I know that's not the right method. I do know that you kind of went through that with your wife, so I was hoping you had some feedback on that. But I did ask them how they felt about it, if they were open to some information, if they've actually ever researched the other side. And they just said, I don't really care, because I don't want to do it anymore anyway. So my goal for this person is to help them truly be free in their mind, even though in some cases they're going to have to keep up appearances for the sake of the relationship with their parent, because I know what that feels like, to be truly free. It's one thing to be out physically, but they're kind of halfway mentally in. Although I see some cognitive dissonance, but I also see the programming. So they're kind of in the middle right now. And I just need to figure out what's the best way to support them in the transition, but ultimately to get them to know the reality so that they can also have a good life and also be happier like I am today. So I hope that makes sense. I hope this helps somebody. Thank you so much for all that you do. Really, truly, honestly, I get teared up because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here today. So I appreciate all the hours of work you've put in to make my life better. Thank you.
Wow. Well, thank you for that amazing message. I'm really thrilled to hear that you've derived some kind of help from the work that I'm doing from this channel. That's fantastic to hear. It sounds like you have a problem here, or specifically, it sounds like your friend has a problem. And I'm not sure you fully grasp how serious this is, because you describe your friend as being somewhere in the middle. I don't think they are in the middle. I think your friend is a POMI, a physically out, mentally in. Because when you list all of the problems, all of the things that have led your friend to distance themselves from the organization, none of it relates to whether it's true or not. It's all to do with expectations that were placed on them, pressures. They're anxious, they're depressed. You even said that they still think it's true. Well, there you go. If they still think it's true, they're not in the middle, are they? They are mentally in. And so what you're describing here is a situation that's really not that much different from if you're living with a fully believing Jehovah's Witness. Because it's a journey, as I've repeatedly said, the journey to mental freedom is a journey that only the person themselves can take. You cannot take it for them. They need to be ready. They need to be hungry to know what the truth is. And you said in your voicemail that your friend, quote, doesn't care. I don't care. If they don't care about whether their beliefs are true or not, then I'm afraid they're nowhere near ready to wake up. It's really, really sad. It's heartbreaking, in fact. And I'm constantly hearing from people, not just in voicemails, but in emails and messages and that sort of thing. I obviously don't have time to respond to the vast majority, but I routinely hear from people who say, Lloyd, I left the organization decades ago and only now am I awake. Only now have I stopped fearing Armageddon. Only now am I able to get a good night's sleep without wondering whether I'm going to die if Armageddon comes during the night, Unfortunately, this situation is common, and you cannot do your friends' thinking for them. This is a journey they need to take. Now, in terms of strategy, in terms of things that you can say, well, you're right. I did face a sort of similar situation with my wife when she was mentally in, when I'd woken up and she was still believing. And that was to not thrust information in her face, but rather wait for her to come to me with questions. And those questions would inevitably be aimed towards retrieving me back to the organization. Well, your friend's not going to really be doing that, are they? They're not going to be interested in whether you go back. They're happy in their little sort of halfway house, or they think they're happy. They're not going to be trying to salvage you to the organization, and therefore it's unlikely that they're going to be approaching you with questions that you can use as opportunities to try to wake them up. I've mentioned repeatedly that I did with my wife sometimes explain things to her if I'd received some kind of revelation, if I'd learned, for example, about the UN NGO scandal or the Mexico-Malawi scandal, and if I was genuinely shocked by something, I felt I had license to say to my wife, look, you are never going to believe this. This is genuinely shaking me and disturbing me. I need to get your input on this. And that's, I feel, a very honest, organic way of presenting information, because it's a revelation to you And especially when it's your wife, you need to be able to have at least that level of communication. But it's not like I was sitting on information for a long, long time and then suddenly ambushing her with it. I was involving her in my journey. Again, I'm not sure how you can do that with your friend if you've been awake for quite some time now and you're not really on the receiving end of any kind of revelations. You basically understand the fact that you were lied to and exploited, and nothing is really new. There's nothing that's kind of pressingly revelatory that you can share. I honestly don't really know what you can, or more specifically should do. I don't think it's ethical, quite frankly, to ambush people, because apart from anything else, as I've said repeatedly, we just don't respond well as human beings to people trying to pressure us into shedding ideas that we cherish for whatever reason. So I'm sad to say there's really not much you can do apart from just be a friend to them. Just be there for them when they want to discuss these issues, when they want to discuss their Jehovah's Witness background, and particularly in relation to the fact that they are still anxious and depressed as a result of their experience and as a result of, for example, fearing Armageddon. I don't think there's anything wrong in saying, look, I'm saying this as your friend, and because I care about you, and because I want you to be healthy, both physically and in terms of your mental health, I really think you should seek professional help. Because whether the organization is true or not, whether your beliefs are true to you or not, if you're in a dark place and you are dealing with anxiety and depression, there's only counselors and therapists that can help you with that. They're trained to help you with that. And who knows what you might learn about yourself if you were to go and get some professional help. Now, if they then say, oh no, what do they know? They're part of Satan's system of things. I guess you could try and practice some basic street epistemology and ask them to talk you through why that's the case. On what basis do they have for knowing that a counselor or therapist is in league with Satan? You could try kind of some basic street epistemology, and I would encourage you to check out, if you haven't done so already, the work of Anthony Magnabosco. He does some brilliant work in having these very difficult conversations with people who have very strong and unflinching ideas. But ultimately, apart from the street epistemology, and apart from just being there as a friend, and apart from pointing them towards professional help with their mental issues, with their emotional issues, what really can you do ethically? This is their journey. They need to take it. As a friend, you've just got to be there for them when they need you. When they reach out for help, that's when you're in a position to do something. That's when you have some control over the situation. But you don't have any control over this, nor should you feel any guilt about this situation when it's not your brain, it's not your life. These are not your beliefs. These are all things that your friend ultimately has responsibility for. And they need to deal with this at their own pace. So I hope this feedback has been in some way helpful. Thank you so much for calling in. Viewers, if you would like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to play your message on the channel. But that's all I have time for. Don't forget to subscribe to the Lloyd Evans channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.